What's going on, guys? Samuel World Samuel One More Pleasure here, back with another ranking video for you all today. And as for today's ranking video, I am going to rank every single Spider-Man movie with the release of brand new day. I don't want to talk about nothing about that could be a funny to do. With the release of brand new day, I figured it'd be fun to rank all the movies since it has been a while since I've done that. And my opinions have changed on a couple of movies a little bit, so I figured it'd be fun to do and pretty much rank all of the Spider-Man movies. If you guys don't know, Spider-Man is my favorite superhero of all time. So I thought fun to do an updated ranking on. So it's been a while since I've done one of these full ranking videos, but I still hope y'all enjoyed it nonetheless. I hope you enjoyed this video. And I would love to know your ranking down below. How would you rank all the movies? Of course, talking about the Raimi movies, the two Andrew, the two Andrew Garfield movies, the four Tom Holland movies, along with the recent one, Rainy Day, which is breaking records, by the way, and the two Spider-Verse movies. And let me tell you, this wasn't easy for sure. I definitely debate a lot, but again, I hope you enjoy. I would love to know your ranking down below in the comment section. Feel free to hit the like, subscribe button if you guys want to see more content like this. And all that being said, let's get into the ranking of every Spider-Man movie. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna talk about the whole ranking, but we're gonna do that little thing honestly. But yeah, coming in at number 11 and number 10, I have both of the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Unfortunately, they're both near the bottom. And to clarify, I don't actually hate these movies, honestly, at least not much as I used to, but they're definitely the weakest Spider-Man movies. Well, number 11, I would say, is the original Amazing Spider-Man, and number 10 would be Amazing Spider-Man 2. It kind of sucks that Andrew Garfield as low he is, because honestly, I don't really blame Andrew Garfield for this, honestly. Like, Andrew Garfield is a great actor. He does portray the character doing pretty well, honestly. He's a really good actor. It's just one of those things where he's just given not so great of a script or writing to really like work with, honestly. So like he definitely has some good emotional range. For sure, I can definitely see what they're trying to do with this version, but it just didn't really work for me. And the original Spider-Man is not really a bad movie. It's just he life is origin story movie. Like it's like he's telling the origin story again, but with less interesting ways. Honestly, like the movie is just kind of dull honestly at times. Like it doesn't look that great either. Like you can have some fun action scenes. Just can have a couple of nice moments, obviously. But it just feels like they told the wrong way. They told the wrong story, especially with Local staff and the whole thing with like Peter's father, which I never really liked at all. And the lizard here is just terrible all around. Like Kill has good moments, obviously, like some sort of action and some good performances, especially with Emma Stone. I do elevate this movie a little bit, not being a bad movie. But for me, the original Spider-Man is the weakest because it's the one I look forward to watching the least, and it's just a mediocre dull movie. Not bad, honestly. Like there've been worse superhero movies, far worse. But it's just again a very mediocre movie at best. And then we get to Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is film that definitely got around on a bit, honestly. Like I thought, obviously we was just flash as bad, honestly, but like I said before, I've gone around a little bit. Well, it's still not good by any means. Like, it's still all a problem. Like, most of the villains suck. It feels like it's just like setting up for like other movies that we unfortunately never got. And that feels like it's just it kind of choose out what happens Spider-Man 3 with putting much like too much in one tier. But you know, it's at least more visually appealing than but it's at least more visually appealing than the first Amazing Spider-Man. It can have some fun action set pieces. The visuals are fantastic. The CGI and the effects are top notch. Again, the villains also kind of like with Electro and Green Goblin, what they're trying to do. And, like, I have no idea what they're trying to do with those characters at all. And like, really? But it is definitely elevated by the relationship between like, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, who obviously I think we're doing around this time, obviously. So they do have like such great, they do have such great magnetic chemistry here that really does elevate a lot of the material here. Like a lot of the scenes are the best part of the movie. And it makes to when Gwen Stacy actually does die, honestly. Like, it's a moment that continues to get better the more I think about it. I'm not sure how it's going to be when I eventually get into my best moment, best Spider-Man franchise moment, which I do plan on doing at some point. But it's definitely going to at least be on the list for sure. Like, it is a really emotional moment. Definitely one of the most emotional moments in any Spider-Man movie. Again, we were just very jumbled with all the plot lines it does, and the villains, and of course, all the subs for other movies that we never got. So, so I just did a little lesson here. Again, like we did with Spider-Man 3. And speaking of Spider-Man 3, there's number 9. Spider-Man 3 is also, in my opinion, the definition of a frustrating mixed bag. Like, it is the definition of a mixed bag movie. I think there are some great elements to this movie. Like I'll say, it's another movie I definitely don't hate as much as I used to. For sure, I used to despise the movie. I don't think when I watched the movie for the first time when it came out, I don't think I enjoyed it then. Again, it's not a bad movie, but it's not a bad or terrible movie. It definitely has some high points, obviously. Like, Sam Raimi's story director. I definitely see what trying to do this into some storylines. Again, the CBO stuff, as long as the CBO suit looks incredible. And while it does have some very cringy moments with Peter Parker trying to be like and of course, the whole dance sequence, it's more unintentional hilarious than anything, honestly, and it does elevate the movie a little bit. But of course, it's not a movie that has pretty lackluster villains. I agree with Sammy, probably more than most people, it seems. But Venom, not really. And actually, I saw the potential to try and do with Harry be the next Goblin, but it's one that was not executed the greatest. And the whole appeal of being Dick and everything, and of course having to choose MJ, and then MJ's probably had the worst here, honestly, as much as I always defend her. Obviously, it's not really just very too jumbled with the storylines and the villains, and just very all over the place a lot of times. But again, it still has some great effects, some fun extra stuff, because it's not great bringing me Spider-Man humor at points. Like, there is definitely some stuff to enjoy here, honestly, though. It's a movie I can always just watch and have a decent time with, but yeah, it's definitely one of the more disappointing supermovies that we have gotten. Unfortunately, we never got that fortune in the fourth one. And it looks like we'll probably never get that. And now at number 8, and at number 7, we got two of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. With number 8 going to Far From Home, and number 7 going to Homecoming. And for a long time, I always thought that Far From Home was better than Homecoming, honestly, but I still do love both these movies. I think Far From Home's kind of done a little bit less. I don't think I don't really obviously hate it as much as anyone else does. I still think it's actually a great movie, honestly. I think it's actually a bit underrated, actually, in my opinion. So do I do understand all the issues, with Tony Stark being flying top Peter's glasses, and Peter's plan's not really making much sense if you actually think about it. But he still has that fun, great charm and humor from his characters. Again, Ned and MJ are really great characters, in my opinion, and they do have great chemistry with Tom Holland. You get some fun, humorous moments, especially with Flash and other characters as well. Honestly, and Fury Fury's cool here. Again, Mysterio, with my opinion, a really solid villain. I don't love him much. I don't think he's like a top tier villain like I originally thought when I first saw this movie. But in my opinion, he's still a good enough villain. A lot of that's really elevated by Jake Gyllenhaal's performance. And then with the visual sequences in general are just fantastic. I guess some of them be like all in those scenes and deal with the emotions about what happens with Tony Stark is really really on Peter and everything, and you really do feel a lot throughout this movie. Yeah, Steppies are still great. Not the most exciting in the world because John Watts not the most exciting director, but they're still pretty good. And the visuals are great as well, and of course that the romance between Peter and MJ was pretty still as well, and that post credit scene that about my jaw drop. Like I said, that sword camera makes sense at times. It does have some uncomfortable moments, especially with that scene where female agent tells Peter to take off her clothes, which was a very awkward scene. But as a whole, I still have a soft spot for Home. And I was doing the same thing with Homecoming as well. Which again, I remember actually seeing a couple weeks before it came out in theaters, which was actually pretty cool. And actually, Homecoming, I think, is a great movie. Yeah, also not a movie, obviously. Like, I can see in some elements where people would not like this, because it's not a traditional Spider-Man story. They feel, and of course, the fact that Peter might feel like more angry at Jillian at times. They feel like, in some cases, I feel like No Way Home and Special Bending Day really do elevate these movies a bit more. Well, and again, Tom Holland's always been a really good actor, and I think he's gotten better, especially as the movies went along. And he has a very nice charm to it. Again, Ned, I think, is actually a pretty underrated character. I feel like a lot of people don't like Ned, honestly, if I remember correctly. But I've always liked him. He has some pretty hilarious one-liners, and he has some great chemistry with Tom Holland as well. Not mention the Vulture is an incredible villain as well. Monkey plays him greatly. Again, like I said, this one has that John Hughes coming of age vibe in the MCU. Just never really unique at time. Again, yeah, it's just not the most exciting in the world, honestly, but it's not like boring either. It can have its charming moments, obviously, The piece of kick ass drug points. Obviously, like I said, the action's not the most exciting in times, but I always have stuff about Homecoming, and I always have a great time every single time I watch it. And I think a lot of people really hate on these two movies, but I never really got it. And now coming in at number 6. Now, Jim, my top 6 are basically, in my opinion, perfect 10 out of 10 movies. Including the movies that I would say are entirely perfect, but movies that I would say are movies that I would give my highest of recommendations. Films I would say are just freaking fantastic across the board. Like I said, these films are just fantastic ones that I got out to very often. And if you guys have seen my previous lists where basically where I talk about my favorite movies from certain years, I think I have a lot of these movies high up on those lists. The years that they came out. Each of those videos want to know how high they were, honestly, but I love all 6 of these movies. So trying to debate which one I enjoyed more honestly was definitely pretty difficult. But I decided honestly that coming in at number 6, we have the new kid on the block, and that is Spider-Man Brand New Day. Again, Brand New Day is only number 6, but again, this is definitely something that easily could go higher up on the list, honestly, the more time goes on. Because only because I've only seen the movie once, obviously, I feel like a second watch would definitely more confirm my opinions, honestly, so there could be two. This is definitely a movie that, like a lot of these movies, it has to actually be a little higher on system. I feel like it could be like a true top tier Spider-Man movie, honestly. But Spider-Man only, but despite only being number 6 on the list, like I said, I still think this is a fantastic movie. But again, Barry Day, I think is my opinion a fantastic movie. Like it definitely delivers on what you want a street level Tom Holland Spider-Man to be. Like it's definitely a lot more small scale than anything. But I think it works. Again, I'm not going to get too much because I did post an out of the reaction to this movie, so check out that because one of my full thoughts on the movie. But again, it's a great little Spider-Man movie that has still a pretty solid story and some pretty emotional moments. Has it pretty much does everything you expect from a Spider-Man movie, but in the best way possible. Like it has some moments that basically feel like it's like Spider-Man 2, and even some moments that feel like the Sonic Spider-Man games, which were pretty well done. I guess probably have a lot of MCU characters and everything, and a lot of different characters. It feels like a lot more balanced movie, and it feels like it still focuses on Peter Parker. And Top Mom probably in the big gifts his best performance here as well. The Punisher I thought was really well done here. I'm sure they Kevin Wildmore makes the Punisher well. The Punisher, and again, I'm still surprised he had a amount of screen time he had in this movie, and he and Peter Parker had such incredible moments throughout. Throughout what they do in Nancy Day was great as well. Again, the villain, I'm not spoiled, but the villain was handled pretty good as well. The action is just amazing. Considering it's like a different director, you really do feel the incredible quality of the action set piece, especially the web slinging. Like, and it's still very humorous, but also has the emotional moments. So, again, we'll see how this film, like how high up it'll go, on low it'll go when I watch it. We'll see how it goes. All I know is that Brand Day is definitely going to be high up on my best films of 2026 for sure. And now at number 5, the top 5, we have Across the Spider Verse. Now, this definitely was a period of time where I always debate back and forth where I think this is better than Spider Verse. Spoilers, obviously, you'll see much higher on this ranking. I always debated when I enjoyed this more, honestly, considering that I did love this movie and hell, it was my second favorite movie of 2023, and I would still probably put it as my second favorite that year, obviously. And it's one of the cases where I don't think there's really any reason why it went down and why the first one's better. There really isn't particular reason. This movie is just fantastic. It builds a lot more on the first movie. You went through a Miles and Gwen's fantastic. A lot of different Spider Verses they do on, so which is amazing with different animation style. The animation is just freaking mind blowing. Like, holy shit, so freaking mind blowing. Sorry to say like that, but yeah, the animation really is mind blowing a lot of times throughout this movie. And the Miles story is great. And, him dealing with Spider 2029, which I thought was a really good film. Even Spot I thought to be a pretty fun film. I feel like it's going to be built a lot better in the next Spider-Man movie. So the action is fantastic. The music is great. I think really the only reason why I prefer in Spider Verse, it's really only because it's not a complete story. Because obviously the end it's just goes back to when Miles gets captured and everything, and the end just what that happens. So it's really one of those cases where I feel like what we get with Beyond the Spider Beyond the Spider-Verse, which, by the way, is my most anticipated movie of next year. I feel like what we get with Diamond Launch is going to depend on how much I enjoy this movie launches going forward, or how much I. Basically, how I feel about this is really going to depend on how that story ends, so I'll probably make more definitive decision by then. But yeah, this movie's still fantastic. It's still amazing. It's just obviously it's not actually its story. So we'll see how it goes beyond Spider-Verse. So and what happens? This movie could easily probably end up being the best Spider-Man movie, honestly, or the best Spider-Verse movie. So we'll see. But right now, I didn't know if I was still a good choice. I still do love this movie. And then also my top four. If you guys see my previous top 100 best, if you guys see my top 100 best films of all time, as I did a couple months ago, I did like a couple years ago. One of you guys probably knows that my top 40 movies I put on those. Basically, my top four of films I put on those lists as well. But anyways, coming in at number four, we have the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man, the film that started all. I mean, I'll say, yeah, this film does kind of feel dated in some areas for sure, but it's still a movie I still hold a lot of love to. Like, it's the film that basically launched the PMS while that Bob Blaine and X-Men got the crowd going. Spider-Man was like, oh my god, Superman was gonna actually be pretty good. And this definitely is great. So by seeing Raimi, who gets his great vibes and great charm and goofiness and kidness throughout the entire movie, Tobey Maguire is still an exceptional Peter Parker and Spider-Man. The other characters are really well done. I've always enjoyed the hero, and I've always enjoyed MJ. The action figures are still great. The Greek Goblin is still a great villain, even with the good costume. Again, the movie basically is the origin story of the character, but it delivers the origin story in just pure emotional, heartfelt fashion. One of these days, more than that is a perfect origin story movie. In my opinion, probably still is the best origin story movie. But up there with Batman Begins is probably the best origin story superhero movie. And now at number three, we got probably the most surprising movie on the list, and that is Into the Spider-Verse. That's why I say, even with the trailers, who really expected Into the Spider-Verse to actually be a good movie? But I think it's more because of honestly, Storm Pictures Animation that did not really do the best job. I mean, this is the same studio that a year before they released the Emoji Movie and Substance 2 with Mia, which I did actually see and they are two of the worst animated movies of all time. Of all time! Things like that, because they were two of the worst animated movies ever. Like, holy shit, like, I've never seen what people were like, hey, Substance 2 for sure. Like, talk about a slap in the face, but that's a story for another day. That is a story for another day. Let's talk about Spider-Verse, which it's totally, in my opinion, by a landslide, to my opinion, the best movie. Like, the animation feels like it's just for sure a comic book, obviously, and also there's been a lot of movies after this, honestly, that has utilized the style they used here, and it's for good reason, because it's a pretty effective, unique animation style. I guess once we focus on Miles Morales and then told the story pretty well again. Well, so the story is definitely geared towards the actual Spider-Man story. Like, it's really a very simple story if you really think about it. It's really not just the animation makes it work, but it's really the character work, the performances, and how the movie is cute. That makes it still pretty fun to watch, even though if story is not the most original in the world. The characters are really well defined, the arcs they go through are pretty interesting, the voice acting is great, the music is really kick ass, and Sunflower, I still dream that song so much to this day. And just the journey kills going as well, I was thinking not just Miles Morales, but Peter Parker, Gwen Stacy, and of course, the other characters like Penny Parker, who I was allowed, Spyham, who I still want to see a movie to this day. And of course, Nicolas Cage's Spiral Noir, which, by the way, I did actually see the Spiral Noir show that came out later this year. Fantastic show. Definitely recommend it. Not actually the action, emotional beats just really hit hard. Just what do you expect from the Spider-Man story? And I thought this is kind of what also kicked off kind of the whole multiverse thing that a lot of movies actors has really done, honestly. For better or for worse. But Into Spider-Verse was definitely one of the best ones, I'm saying. It's still a phenomenal movie that I always love coming back to. Now, I remember there was a time where I actually debated between my top two, honestly. I think for a while my number two actually was number one. But the more I thought about it, the more like, it's not like, but yeah, coming in at number two on this ranking is Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah, I know. I'm one of those people that absolutely loves No Way Home. I know. I absolutely love this movie. I know. The reason I say that honestly is I feel like a lot of people have gone too hard with the movie. Now, I'm actually not going to talk about too much about No Way Home because I actually released a video earlier this year where I talked about No Way Home 5 years later. So you guys can check the video. So you guys can actually check the video. You guys want to know my full detailed thoughts on No Way Home. But yeah, honestly, I still love this movie. I still think it's the best Tom Holland in my opinion. Again, what does he fan service? Yeah, but he uses it in a very effective way. Right? It's just a little like off and weird, kind of, but it's still effective what it does. Again, it has a certain charm. Seeing these characters again was still great, and they used very effectively here. You know, the emotions really just hit. Like, it has one moment that's definitely in the be my favorite Spider-Man moments. Again, I do plan to your best moments, so I'll that as well. But again, like I said, you can check out that video as one of my full thoughts. But No Way Home, in my opinion, is still a fantastic movie. But yeah, of course, number one still Spider-Man 2. I feel like it's not. This shouldn't be a surprise, honestly. I feel like no matter what, Spider-Man 2, no matter what's always going to be the best Spider-Man movie. It's the quintessential Spider-Man movie. It's one of the best. Uh, it's not only one of the best Spider-Man movies, but one of the best superhero movies and one of the best sequels of all time. Like this film is how you do a sequel. This is how you film a sequel to your movie. Based on everything on the first movie with the characters and Peter Parker and him trying to balance life with himself and Spider-Man along with his friends and family, all the hardships he deals with, all the stress and the emotions. He gets some of the best action pieces ever. All Davies is an incredible villain. Again, do I really think anymore honestly? Spider-Man 2, it's still a quintessential Spider-Man movie for good reason. And well, guys, that is my ranking on every single Spider-Man movie. Definitely let me know down below in the comment section what are your favorite Spider-Man movies. Which Spider-Man movies did you enjoy the most? How would you rank all 11 of these movies? And again, at some point within the next couple weeks, I do plan to do a list of video where I rank one top on my favorite moments from Spider-Man. I'm gonna do like a top 20 list discussing the whole franchise. Top my favorite moments from next. I don't think I've done that before, so stay tuned to that video coming pretty soon. I am Simon World from Simon Editions. I will see you next time as always. Stay cool, buddy. And here's a little sprinkle of positivity your way. Peace.